What do you want us to get started off with here, James? I see it in the background there
Yeah,
behind
I would
you.
love to talk about this Hogwarts Legacy. Now,
Do you really want to talk about it? Do you
I
want to have an honest
I
conversation
want to
here, or
have
do
an
we want to have
honest
the
conversation, and I know that
conversation the world wants?
I want to have an honest conversation, and I know that we have to, if we're trying to be politically correct, we got to tiptoe around this. And
I'm not going to tiptoe. If you want an honest conversation, I'm
I
not
would
going to
love an honest
tiptoe.
conversation because I don't really want to tiptoe around it either. But I don't want to put anyone in a bad spot. So,
We don't have enough listeners to tiptoe yet.
So basically, I sent you a couple articles. Of course, the cancel culture with J.K. Rowling and her beliefs and what she's done. And I'm not praising her, taking her side or anything like that. I do think she's a pretty horrible person. But people want to boycott everything now. People that have grown up from 5 years old till 20 loving Harry Potter, there are people out there that want to condemn it. And then the other half of the people that grew up with it and love it decided, you know what, F it. I'm not going to let that. Yes, I think she's a horrible person, but I'm not going to let her take away part of my childhood, right? Like, yes, she created this world, but other people have put their hands in it. It's not her single-handedly alone. There's a lot of people mixing in the pot. Yes, she created the book, she created the world, but people that created the movies and the merchandising and everything involved with it, there's a lot of people involved. So those people have decided, I'm just going to ignore her. I don't care about her. I'm just going to be excited about what I like about it. And then, of course, that's kind of gone back and forth. And now we have Hogwarts Legacy. New game.
So that's the funny thing about this is to have the honest conversation. We're really not talking about Hogwarts Legacy or any game or any book or any movie that has ever been written. We're talking about the state of the culture that we have today. And I think basically what you just said proves the state of the culture today is screwed up because you basically said she has opinions that she expressed in a free speech country, and she's a terrible, hateful person for it. I'm like, I don't think I agree with that statement at all. So she has opinions you don't agree with. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
She's allowed to have opinions I don't agree with.
I don't give a shit if you agree with what she said or not. That is completely for you to choose.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
But I'm not going to say she's a horrible person behind that either because I don't know her.
Okay, fair
I have
enough.
no idea. Yeah. I'm not gonna take one statement by a person and classify everything about her throughout all of it. I'm not going to disown one person because they have a disagreement. Let's say it's under religion or gender or like all of this. Everything. Gender is the issue that it is. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to say, oh, I hate you for everything that you've ever done because you've made this one comment. Well, that's not true. I just disagree with you on this point.
Yeah.
Do I agree with some of the statements that she made? I don't care.
Like, that's
the biggest problem is I didn't even know there was this huge controversy going on until you sent me this because I don't care that much.
Well, so
I am a giant Harry Potter fan.
The reason it comes up is because one of the companies decided to fire their employee based on the fact that they're excited about this game.
Yeah, see, that is where it's completely wrong. Because think about it. Die hard Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, I know you are. You're so excited about this game.
Super excited about this game. I have watched the movies 20 to 30 times. I've read all of the books multiple times. I'm actually reading the last book, or not reading it, but listening to it in my car right now because I love Harry Potter. That is a separation from J.K. Rowling, the person.
Correct.
That has nothing to do with her other than, yeah, she created this world that's amazing. It's like I really loved watching Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire and all of these guys from the steroid era, Alex Rodriguez.
And if you like baseball, and you say you didn't enjoy that home run year,
I loved it.
You're a liar. But I'm saying if you like baseball and you say, oh, well, I didn't like it because they were using you're a liar.
But
everyone watched it.
I think even a better example of this is Pete Rose.
Listen, you better slow your roll down with my boy.
No,
here.
but here's the thing. Pete Rose was an amazing baseball player. He did great things in baseball. He played the game the way the game should be played. I don't give a shit if he's a dick off the field to everybody. I only care about what he does between the lines as a baseball player. But we expect these media stars
to have perfection,
to be good people. Most of them aren't. Like most of them are. Most of them are egotistical. Most of them are self-centered. Most of them are all these things. There's a ton that are great. There are a ton that are normal people. A lot of them aren't. So you have to separate the person and the opinions of the person from the thing that they do. That is separate. Now, when it comes to business, there can be a fine line on that. But saying I am excited about a game coming out is not the same thing as going out on Twitter saying you are from this company and releasing statements that the company does not agree with. Like that could get you fired. Like I could not go on to my personal Twitter and start, saying a bunch of hate stuff and say, and I'm not going to say the company I work for, but the company I work for agrees with me. That would get me fired.
Correct. Yes.
So I cannot do that. And yes, there's things that you cannot do because you work for a certain company. But me saying, man, I really can't wait for Hogwarts Legacy to come out because I'm a really big Hogwarts fan and Harry Potter fan and all of those other things. And they say, well, J.K. Rowling's a terrible person, so you're fired. What? That has nothing to do with the conversation.
And what's funny is you made a good point. You said until I brought a lot of this to light, you had no idea what was going on. Most of the people that give her this platform and give her this power that they want everyone to boycott, don't buy anything, don't buy this, don't buy that. They're the ones making her putting her on a higher pedestal by constantly bringing it up.
Yeah, like there are some things in this world that I agree with. There's some things in this world that I am completely disagree with. But there's one thing in this world that I think if we sat everyone down, except for some of the most terrible people, sociopaths in the world, all we want out of this is for us to have enjoyment, make a better lives for our family, and have fun while we're doing it together. Like that's it.
Yep.
All the other bullshit is just fluff bullshit on the outside. I have trans friends. I have gay friends. My godfather is gay. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't care what happens in your bedroom. I don't care about all those things. If you're a good, decent person, then I'm going to like you. But don't hate me because I like Harry Potter. That has nothing to do with my position on transgender.
Yeah, that's
if you want to know my position on transgender, ask me.
Yeah.
Don't make an assumption about me because of the other things that I like.
Yeah, that's the thing that just drives me nuts. It's just the amount of hate. I mean, you've got a rel, I don't want to bring their names into it. You can find it on YouTube pretty easy. I know that Clownfish TV did a good podcast episode on them. But this huge influencer, Twitch streamer, is out there just saying, I hope you fucking die, or some weird, like, over the top stuff. Like, if you buy this game and you play this game or you stream this game,
so you're basically a
piece of shit.
It's funny because the entire, and this isn't the movement. I want to separate this from two things. Like you have the LGBTQ, well, the LGBTQ movement that's going on in the world today, and most of that is 99.999999% of that is peaceful protests within their rights, standing up for everything, having their rallies, doing all of the things that they should do in order to move human rights in the right direction. They're doing it the right way. And then you have the 0.000000001% that technically isn't even part of that group that's out here causing this chaos by fighting hate with more hate.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on to my platform,
Twitter
because
warriors.
I have a Twitter, and I'm going to go on here and go on blast and say, everyone, you should fucking die if you hate this stuff. I'm like, really? is this what we've learned over all of the hundreds and hundreds of years and all the issues we've had in all the countries? This is where we're at. We're just going to sit here and say, I hope someone fucking dies because they like something or dislike something that has nothing to do with the agenda at hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if she wants to go out there on Twitter, and this is where I blame J.K. Rowling, Twitter is not really the greatest place in the world to go out there and start throwing out your opinions unless you want backlash. She got what she wanted.
Yep.
In controversy and backlash, and exactly what you said. All of a sudden, Harry Potter became a thing again. All of a sudden, you know, you get this run. Harry Potter's been around for a while. Maybe it's not selling as well. Maybe it's there. It's definitely selling well. And there's a giant park for it if you want to go look at it at Universal Studios. Like, it's not going anywhere because 99.9% of general humans can separate the fact that J.K. Rowling's feelings towards something have nothing to do with Daniel Radcliffe playing Harry Potter in a movie. Like, they don't align.
Yeah.
So the stuff like this infuriates me because it just sets us back. It sets all of these things 2 to 3 steps back because now we have to fight the stupidity of all of these ignorant people that are fighting for the thing that we want to move forward, but they're so stupid and ignorant, they're doing it the wrong way, and they don't even realize that.
Exactly. And
they don't even realize that they're causing more problems than they are good.
Yeah, 100%. I do want to point out that in one of the videos I was watching and some of the articles I read, somebody is trying to say, oh, we should, don't buy the game, boycott this because our boycotts have been working because Harry Potter sales are down 40% this year over the last year. Well, the person I was watching made a very good point. J.K. Rowling does a lot of other stuff. She's making other books. She hasn't written a book in 10 years. So you would
how much money did Fantastic Beasts just make?
But one would assume that something that old stops selling the books. How many times are you going to rebuy the books, right? Most of the world has the books, so of course they're going to be down in percentage. But it doesn't mean she's not making money elsewhere.
Well, it like I always love when they say stuff like that. It's like, oh, the sales are down. Like, okay, which sales and what recession are we sitting in where people aren't going out and spending a bunch of money on Harry Potter memorabilia that they don't have enough money to spend on anyway, when we're really actually just worried about getting eggs and milk because they're astronomically priced right now. Like, what are you talking? Like, are you talking about book sales being down? Sure, but I also know that they just did a huge licensing deal with all the movies, and there's also talk about them redoing all of the movies here in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah,
of starting the remakes of all of them. So Harry Potter's not going away because Harry Potter is a cult classic. It is going to be here forever because it's a wonderful story.
And
about an orphaned child that becomes a powerful wizard to save the people from a dictator that's trying to overthrow everything. Like, it's a wonderful story.
And WB was a lot smarter than Fox and made sure they had control over the movie rights.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna get into, and I don't even want to get into all the other stuff of like because the game is doing a goblin revolt inside the game, that it's basically doing anti-Semitic things in here and stuff like that. I'm like,
everything that goes
holy crap!
You can twist everything to fit your narrative if you want to.
It's a goblin. Like that's, if you went and drew a goblin, I would probably draw it the exact same way that they drew it. Just out of, if I told my daughter, draw what you think a goblin might look at like, and you use that. Now, let's say someone throughout history has used that depiction to say mean things about people, to create stereotypes around people. That's what stereotypes are. That's why they need to be broken in certain ways when you look at this. But it's not that these story writers of a game decided, you know what, let me put this hidden subverse message inside of here because this is what I really want to push the agenda. It's not like, now, if behind the goblin there's a swastika, all right, I'm going to start believing you now that we've got a problem.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there's some issues here. I would kind of agree with you. Like, if I saw that in some promotion material, I would be like, yeah, I'm not going to buy that game. As much as I like Harry Potter, I'm going to stay away from this game because those developers are doing things that I don't really agree with. But I've seen none of that through anything that I've seen in the game. I've also know that you have the hardcore, right side of the world that has banned all these books from everywhere because there's witches and wizards and magic and all this. So we've already had controversy on the side that J.K. Rowling stands on.
Yeah.
That have hated her books from the beginning. So you have the conservatives that hate everything about it anyway. I'm just waiting for that uproar.
Yeah. Now let's bring it. I want to bring it back to the game before we leave this topic here. Okay, we kind of got our feelings on the whole J.K. Rowling situation, whether you should ban it and all that. But the game has now, as I don't know if it's a slap in the face to the people trying to stop it, is the number one selling game this year on PlayStation 5. I also find it weird to.
It's not even out yet.
Yeah, but I also find it weird on the second week of January to be talking about what's the best selling game in 2023. But it's also high up there on Steam. I think it might be the top pre-ordered game on Steam right now. So my question to you will this game be judged on by the streamers and the gamer feedback that's a verified purchaser and verified player of the game? Or is it going to be judged on the fact that the Metacritic score is probably going to get review bombed to oblivion?
I mean, I think the thing that's going to tell whether or not the game is good or not is sales. It's hard for the streamer world because this is going to be kind of like Elden Ring. You're going to have a bunch of streamers go to it, play it for a good chunk of time, and then you're going to see them move off. This controversy actually might keep streamers from playing it. There's a brand that they have to listen to, and they're not going to want to lose people because of something for that. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to play the hell out of the game. I'll stream the game. I'll make videos on the game. I think it's going to be a really good game. Now, whether or not it is, that's to be seen, but it's not going to be because of the controversy we're talking about today. That's not going to affect the game. Honestly, the fact that it's got as many sales as it does with this controversy around it tells me one of two things. One, most people out there are pretty level-headed and are just like, okay, I'm buying a game. I'm not buying her thoughts and opinions. Or they're like me and are just completely oblivious to the fact because they just don't care enough to follow every little thing J.K. Rowling says on Twitter and see what is blowing up, because that's how small of a thing it is to me. Okay, she's being a bitch on Twitter because she feels a certain way. I'm just gonna not listen to her Twitter, and I'm gonna. It's easy here.
Okay,
but I think the game as a whole, it's not gonna be Grand Theft Auto. It's not gonna be like this multi-world platform. It's a single-player game. So it's hard to judge those games, and I hope the critics out there give it its due when they actually look through it and play it, rather than bend to the will of the media, and I will air quote media because it's not even real media at this point.
Okay, now here I want a prediction from you, Andrew. I know you're excited to play this. You've seen a little bit of gameplay, some commentary, somewhat going on. They just revealed Simon Pegg is Phineas Black,
yeah,
which
that's
is
cool.
which will be the headmaster of Hogwarts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new story, so we don't know anything about it. So finding people and how they're going to tell it's going to be pretty cool.
And so far, some of the people that have previewed it have said this is going to be way better than anyone is prepared for. So, Ender, early prediction: is this giving Starfield a run for its money for Game of the Year come December?
Oh, I think it will. I think you're definitely going to have to be one because you're going to have, it's the Harry Potter universe. It's not Harry Potter, so you have real leeway to tell a story that you want to tell. We already know that the Goblin revolt happened. Like, we knew that happened from they hint at it in the stories that were written. So I'm super excited. I think it's gonna, from what I've seen, this might rival and may become one of my favorite games of all time, next to Fable. I'm feeling like this is gonna be on the level of Fable, and if you've never played Fable, go back and play all of them. Fable might be the greatest single player character creation role playing game ever made.
Yeah.
Today it still stands up as one of the greatest games. And they haven't even done anything with it. I mean, I can't wait for the new Fable to come out, but I think this will be the closest thing we get to something like that, because from what I heard, you have, the light and you have the dark. You have both magics that you can start to use, and your character is going to change the way it interacts with the world based on the decisions that you make. So it's so Fable-ish, and it's so Harry Potter story, because if you're a huge Harry Potter fan, you know that the only reason Harry didn't go to the dark side, or was supposed to be in Slytherin, the Sorting Hat tells him that, is because he chose not to be.
Yeah.
He has it in him to go either way. He's not and that's the funny thing about Harry, is he's not a good person. He just makes really good unselfish decisions and becomes a great person.
Yeah.
But he had everything lining up for him to be just like Tom Riddle. No family, isolated, people hated him. He chose not to be. And that's why it's such a great story, because you have such polar opposites that had this same exact upbringing that chose to be different.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the story. And it's to be able to retell it here and see things in a game sense, that we've heard about, and play it and interact with it. And we're going to get to, at the end of this podcast, we're going to talk about another one of those kind of games that we're actually going to get to see and watch and feel.